Today I bring in the i9 core. It's the 129KF. All right, so we're gonna get a lot of cores in here. We're gonna set it up today. They got rid of the larger boxes and they choose to get something small and simple. We're gonna set this up today and see how well it works. So we're gonna set it up. We got our stuff set up in here, and we're gonna prepare ourselves to set up this whole elaborate system. So it's about time we're gonna upgrade it, and we're gonna see how fast it is, if it's even worth it, and how simple it is to adjust and install this. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. All right, we're gonna start with build. What I like to do every time, I like to install the i9 first. That's very important all the time. One of the best things I like to do is just make sure I do it properly, because I don't want to readjust it when I'm in the middle of setting up. Second, I like to mount it in the actual system, including with the actual mounts that we're going to do for the actual water and cooling system. Prior to that, I like to test it out, do a dry run, make sure it's running prior to me throwing it in there. And then I set up the actual M.2s two at the same time before I throw it in there, including the memory sometimes. But we're going to do the memory late because it's actually being utilized by another system. So let's go ahead and start. So arrows here on the actual pin, and there's an arrow here. So we're gonna lift this up, right? Lift it up, and make sure you're static free prior to starting with anything. Some people like to wear the static bracelets. I really don't. So we're gonna lift this first, all right? We're gonna lift it up, and leave the plastic on, all right? And this is the most critical part. You got to remember that these are pins. The pins are not in here. They're actually in here. So let's go ahead and open it up. Believe it or not, I dropped a couple of these before, and let me make sure there's no debris on it. Here's the actual CPU going on, dropping it in there. This is like the critical part right here. There we go. So we got it into a point where the arrow is pointing down to the bottom, and we're going to close it up. And then once we close it up, there's no point of return. All right, so it's there, it's properly there, the arrow's there. We're gonna go ahead and place it in place, and then go ahead, and this comes off easy. So the CPU is already embedded in there. That's probably the most critical part of setting up a computer. It's actually the CPU. You know, keep this as a souvenir, but you're probably never going to come back again unless you upgrade it or something's wrong with it. And most of the times it's either an upgrade. So like, it's nothing fancy. They don't put any stickers or anything else. It's just a basic 129,900 KF, right? So all right, if you guys can see, I have my Intel chip installed already. It's properly set up already. I put lots of cooling air. I ended up putting a water cooling system instead of an actual fan in there, but there's a lot of fan, a lot of air passing through, especially if you have a motherboard or that can generate a lot of heat, because I do have extra M.2s with of course I put radiators on them, but I got plenty of fans coming in. Air's coming in, flowing up, flowing back. It's keeping everything really good temperatures. The highest I've seen probably was like at 35, you know, but it kept the temperature even at a testing area. When I was running Cinemax, it was continuing to keep the same kind of heat around 30, under 30. So not that bad. Even under pressure, was running really good. If you start seeing less getting hotter, that means you're gonna have to replace the water, and that'll be about in a year or so, you know. But you cannot replace the water. You're just gonna end up buying a new generation to keep your Intel 12th generation running. But integrating with the new motherboards, it's not that bad. It's not that hard. Very simple. I like that they got rid of the pins a long time ago. Makes it a lot easier to configure the system.